I'm gonna turn the TV off due to copyright. Due to copyright. Um, yeah. The last video that I posted online is pretty insane. Um, I couldn't go outside. This is how I'm gonna have to start it. Like I said, I couldn't go outside and sing while I was taking out the garbage. And my guitar got stolen. And I can't call the police to find out where the guitar is. My phone, it doesn't work. My phone doesn't work. Okay, so that is a problem. That is a huge problem. I had some other stuff that I was gonna say. Oh, that so nobody's in this room right now. Nobody's in this room right now. Like a year ago, snow. I had to sleep out in the snow. And so I'm just waiting to see how this goes down. So if you give me a moment, I'm actually just gonna pull up a comment about like what I said before. It has a lot to do with they pretty much I'm in debt. They put me in financial ruin, and I cannot get out of it. I cannot get out of it. And they've like tried to kill me a couple times, and that's really messed up, right? Like somebody like pulls out a knife and tells you that that basically we've messed up too many times and we're thinking about killing you. And like it must be a disorder if you like have love for your family members who are like who are thinking about killing you. If I do have a disorder, it's that I am able to rationalize with the worst type of people. I am wearing the same clothing because they threw away my clothing. It's important. It's important to really, I guess. So the video that was previous, like trust, was very like not like together, not together. Like imagine imagine you going through such a scenario. It's just like somebody who doesn't love you, but who doesn't love you saying that, and you still believe they do. It's like, why did you change your like? Why did you lie, and then cause me to like build up so much intense emotion for you, and then like hurt me, and I haven't, and I will never, I guess, probably understand it, but but I have a comment that I wrote, and it's important because people are asking like nobody's really asking, but literally nobody's asking because I haven't really been able to reach out to anybody. But it's just like, why don't I just leave and go out on my own? If my family is so awful, then separate myself from them. And I explained that they ruined my credit and they stole my car. And I was making payments on my car. I had it half paid off. So I explained that going to a shelter, they wouldn't let me use their like computers, and they wouldn't. They only give you like a small opportunity to like leave and find a job, and if you're late, if you don't come back within the hour, like the 3 hours, then they tell you got to sleep outside, and it's snowing outside, and they will do it. They will make you sleep outside in December, and I filed a lawsuit for the local homeless shelter. That's all I can do because people are still bringing money, are still funding these shelters that have put people through more trauma, after they've gone through a really bad experience. I don't know how much. Oh, like, so I can't use the telephone here, and it's horrible because like I said, I would like to know where my guitar. I would like to know where my guitar is. I can't. Uh, I can't get my birth certificate. I can't get my social security card. Like growing up, I had like my grandmother. She bought me like a 3 grand guitar, like a very nice Gibson electric guitar, like one of a kind actually. And I was really good. I got really good. I never recorded anything after I got good. I never recorded after because I wasn't wanting to do that. Basically, I was waiting to put it all together and meet the right person, and then do it. And well, my guitar is stolen now. Once you hit a certain point, when you're about to make your mark, like when the lines intersect, I was like right before, I was like right before that, and so my aunt is the reason, and my uncle. It is my family because my aunt told my father and my grandfather to hurt me, and I didn't. It's difficult to believe. It's difficult to believe, and for me, it was difficult for me to believe, because we were that picture perfect, like family, and so I think I should be better at this. I really should be, because this is boring. This is really boring. But my point is that I think I won like a vehicle, or like 10. It's a scratch off, and you can see like the three. There's 3 right here. I'm not gonna get close to the camera, but you can show 3 right here, and it says if you match 3. I'm not gonna hold it close, but it's like a similar, vaguely they're similar. It says that you win $10,000 in cash, 10 grand in cash, and it's like one, and the chances of winning is 1 out of 60,000. So it says excuse me. It says I won. It says I won I'm a winner, and I can't use the telephone to call, because and that's another thing is that it was through the USPS, and the recipient was the owner of this house, or current resident, and if I didn't get my hands on this, because it says I won $10,000, and so what just happened there was me trying to explain I do have to call, and I do believe that it is still to be put into a second drawing, but based off the statistical data where it's 1 out of 60,000, then the chances are that maybe I did win. And if I didn't get this piece of mail, the person who the other people who live here would have definitely, taken this piece of mail, and they would have tried to claim the prize after they stole my car and my guitar and threw away all my clothing. They would want to take this from me, because money's not the problem in this in my situation. My relatives are literally this messed up in the head. They're this messed up in the head, and I get emotional, and when during that time, when it's actually happening, is I get emotional, because I'm like, what? That's not it's not normal for somebody to want to call the police, or will prevent you from calling the police. It's not normal for somebody to like prevent you from doing that. And but that's what happened, and that led to my grandmother getting hurt for a long time. And and I guess the what can I say? Well, just that, like, I can't. So if I go outside and like I sing, and the police come, um, well, my grandfather told the police to hurt me. Told the police to hurt me. My grandmother was standing next to the police. My grandmother was telling the police to there was like four of them. There's like four of them, and my grandmother's telling the police to get off of me. Because when I speak to the police, I'm communicating just like this, like how I am right now. And like three of them in my front lawn, three of my front lawn held me down and assaulted me. So I was assaulted twice, or no, assaulted three times by the police here, like on my property, and just because I couldn't, just because like somebody told the police, just because somebody told the police to do it, and the police did it, and then the police thought it was okay, and so they and that's how, like, that's one way that the police can greenlight an abuser. That's one way. Like I said, like I said before, is that, like, if I were to approach a stranger and like be flirty, or like be outgoing, or just friendly, like, the people in my family would start judging and start distancing themselves from me, and start trying to analyze, like, why would I interact with a random stranger, and that's because they hadn't learned, they hadn't learned, like, how to communicate with people. Because, and it's just, like, it makes me happy to communicate with people, and that's really like my main source of happiness outside of music, is going out into the world, communicating with people, and music. Of course, my family said, we need to get rid of your guitar. We need to get rid of your car, your guitar. We need to get rid of, like, your clothing, and we need to lie to the police, and then we need to and then you can't leave, and and you can't work out, and you can't do any of this, and but when your dad gets released from jail after being in jail his entire life, he can come in, he can drink, he can do drugs, he can be violent, he can threaten to kill me, he can steal my stuff, he can throw away whatever he wants, he can put me further into debt, and I can't call the police. And it's okay. In this county is so corrupted that the police haven't arrested anybody. They have not arrested anybody. And so I'm just sitting here, just letting this, waiting to see how this unfolds. I contacted the mayor in this city. Contacted the mayor, who I explained to, I explained to him that there are issues that that you are not addressing, which is okay. And so the police came to the house, and after I called, I told him, like, you need to do something about it. You do need to do something about it. And the police said to me, never call him again. Never call him again. For whatever reason, the conversation was legitimate, completely legitimate, and the police told me never to call again. And so from that point on, it just got worse. It just got worse and worse and worse. And I literally am a prisoner. I'm a prisoner in this house. And I'm a prisoner out there, or I was. At one point, I was a prisoner inside this house and out there. And if and if you look through the videos, and then I say, like, what did I do? What did I do? And nothing. I have members of my family who are embarrassed and don't have the confidence to go out into the world. And I pick up the telephone and I call the mayor, and the mayor pretty much calls the police and tells me never to call him again. Because I guess and so when the police came, that was it. I couldn't use the telephone anymore. And the police said, well, it's not my house, so I have to do exactly what this man says. And then I called the police and I said, well, this man is abusive. And the police said, it's not my problem. And I had to watch abuse happen for like 2.5 years, which if I was here, I mean, it's happened in my entire life, but it got really unacceptable at the end. And because it was my grandmother and she had dementia and she couldn't remember. She couldn't remember a lot. She did remember a lot, but there were some things that she wasn't able to remember. And for that reason alone, there's no exceptions. You don't yell at somebody when they're diagnosed. The minute they are diagnosed, you can't yell at them anymore. But it's not against the law. But it should be. It should be like there should be a law that says, like, when you get diagnosed with the disorder, that anybody who yells at you should get like arrested, or anybody who assaults you should like do life in prison. Should go to jail. But in this county, this county has a high rate of crime, and the result is that it's really about the police and how they interpret the problem. Well, if my grandmother told the police, not to touch me, and then my grandfather says no, hurt him, and at the same time, and the police say we're going to listen to my grandfather, well, then it's really bad. And what were they called out here for? Because my grandfather said, like, I wasn't like cleaning, like, or something, something crazy. You would be upset too if the police came and you just had like a crazy family member, and it drives me a little bit insane, but like most people, you wouldn't be able to bounce back as quickly as I can and recover. And once again, I don't have a car anymore. I don't have a telephone. Like, my contacts are gone. I don't have, like, my other computer was stolen. My guitars, like my clothing, stuff, the stuff that grand totals over like 60 grand. It's like 67, it's like 65 grand. Like all the stuff that I've ever worked for, just like thrown away. And then I come, and they have it. This county is like is just. Well, my point is, like, they're literally just sitting there like he's not going to do anything about it. I told everybody. I've emailed everybody. At one point, I emailed people. At one point, I was able to get to the computer and I got a whole list, and I sent an email to everybody. And nobody emailed me back. Nobody emailed me back. People are that horrible. People are that horrible. And I'm going to try to call today. I guess I can call right now. It'd be important. But I guess I'm going to try to call using the... I'm not supposed to use the telephone in the house. But I'm going to try. Last time I was on the telephone, I was told to get off So that's really, and it was a telephone call to the judge. I was contacting the judge, and I wasn't able to really be on that telephone. I had to go. I went into the garage. I went into the garage and like was like talking to the judge. I'm like, this is how insane they are, and like I need help, but so that was the reason for me calling the judge. This is now a 20-minute video. Just like you, it's there's more information. There's more information than what I'm saying. I'm building my case, but everything I've been saying is 100% what happened. But I keep saying that it's worse. It's a lot worse than this, and it's worse. And they've done more. They have actually done more than what I'm saying right now. It's them. It's 100% them. And so that's why it's unbelievable. That's why it's unbelievable. And like I just and I'm leaving a lot of emotion out of it. But if you're a supportive parent, trust me, that's a lot better than that. Like, and if you're not a supportive parent, that's not as good. I'll leave it at that. But the I want to say more. I do want to say more. I really want to like. I really want to let people know how much trouble they're going to get in. I just can't. But I kind of can. I kind of can say it. And I really want to let people know how much of my body mass I lost, and if I lost my body mass, so did my grandmother, and that's the problem. Is that I can, whenever I'm able to financially recover, I can lift that 700-800 pounds that I was lifting with my legs. I was lifting my legs through the incline, seated incline, which is like 24, 45 pounds. I was really happy at that point because I was doing like 20. I was like the 24 pounds, like the dumbbells, the 25, not the 25. I'm sorry, the 45s. There's like 24 or 45s, like the big ones. And so you just saw the plates just like rack up on. And these inclines, they have both like racks, so you can just like and then it's just like then you have the seat coming down backwards, and I just was able to stack them all up, and I was able to do that after like a 2-hour workout on my legs. I would end on that workout, so I would slow down, and I would do 5 sets, and I'd get up to like 10, like somewhere between like 8 and 10 at the end, or like around like 8 at the end. It was like around like 8. It wasn't really 10 at the end after 2 hours, and after that much weight, it wasn't like 8. But I was able to. I was that strong. So if I want to let people know that if I could not walk after, because I've come back here now, but before, if I could not walk very far, and I was able to lift that much weight, and I can't call the police, and then I told the police I couldn't call the police, because they had assaulted me, and there's more. There's a few more reasons, but really this county wanted nothing to do with my problem, and distanced themselves from my problem. That is God's honest to truth. That is God's honest to truth. So if I couldn't walk due to like my hamstrings like deteriorating, and my calves were deteriorated, like if I couldn't walk, then definitely neither could have my grandmother. Not necessarily because she had fallen and wasn't rehabilitated, but because being malnourished. You know, her falling in the law says that it's her fault. It's her fault for falling. But being malnourished when she's in a wheelchair, now that's another story. Um, and I I want to tell people that this is the way it is. It's not going to change. I want to assert that idea because people are in disbelief that somebody who had everything would come back home to take care of their grandmother because nobody else was here, to do it, and then then dealt with such a horrible person and let them hurt me and I want to tell people that you wouldn't even call or come to your grandmother's house, which she was my mom. You would not even come back and do that. If your mom and your dad said no, you wouldn't give up your life. You would not give up your life to do that. And I did. Because nobody else was going to. Nobody. And when your grandmother is your mom growing up and your grandfather is your dad growing up, you become the parent that you didn't need to be. Okay? You become just like they were your parents when they shouldn't have been. And most people will not understand what it means to grow up and fulfill the shoes of somebody of somebody else, the shoes that they will never have to fill the same way. And so back to that emotional video, because then we're wondering like, how is it that like, it's because he did it. It's because like it hurts to know that just by going outside and singing for 90 seconds, it causes a person to pick up the phone and then he lied to the police for like simple reasons like that, and the police like assaulted me, and then like my car was, it's like that, all those events, it is like it is enough to make somebody just like, it's torture. I want to let people know that you tortured the wrong person. You tortured the wrong person. And I want, I see it, it's like, in order for me to feel better, the sentence like, I want people to know, is the only way to get like really gratification, because still at this moment I haven't been like replenished. And and when like it's like it's horrible. It's horrible that there are people who will say that it was my fault. It was my fault. It's not your. If somebody breaks into your store and steals your belongings, okay? Steals your belongings, a thief steals your belongings. It's your fault that they decided to take belongings from you. No, it's maybe your fault for not having the proper security measures in place to prevent it. But if you go too far with security measures, the way I see it, and the right way is to me that if a thief is gonna steal something from you, in God's eyes, like it's then obviously they need it more. That's one way to look at it. And if they're doing it because they're angry, if they're doing it because they're upset at you, like I thought which is where I was wrong. I thought that they would feel better about themselves. I thought they would. I thought it would like get out this that emotion. You know, like the same emotion that I'm saying. Like I really want to tell people. I really want to let people know like that's an emotion. And I thought, this, because I can recover. Anybody can recover. It's just it might take you 50 or 60 years to recover. Um, but before I get off that idea, I before I get off that idea, um, I was incorrect. I was incorrect about that if they take something from you, then they'll get it out of their system. Because what happened is after they took their stuff from me, then they tried to kill me because they kept hurting me over and over and over and over again. They kept hurting me until they tried to kill me. And I really want people to know that I'm sitting here and I'm letting this play out. But nobody is quote unquote like rescuing me. Nobody's rescuing me. And like, and if I walk out right now, if I walk out right now, like it's really cold. It's really cold. I don't really have like they're in denial. So let me just explain. Like they're in denial of how bad it is. They're in denial. So I'm using that denial to just remain calm and just letting the system work itself out. Just you get why I'm more intelligent than you, the listener, who could be somebody who is investigating this whole entire thing. Because you didn't go to school, you didn't go to college for these understanding like these problems, and you're judgmental. Like you see one video where like the hurtful pain and suffering, like the emotion of like being like denied freedom, and then you're thinking to yourself, well, you know what? You kind of look like a creep or something. You obviously have a problem. Then I'm gonna from that one moment in time, I'm like people define you off of one moment in time, and if you're doing an investigation, that's how pretty much we convict the person who's innocent. I want to say, okay, I'll do this. I want to say to people, you're gonna get in trouble for allowing it. You're gonna get in trouble for allowing it. And I want to say to people that, what else do I want to say? It makes me feel better, by the way. What's happened here, like, can result in like a higher suicide rate. Like the suicide rate can be higher. It's like you can use like you can redact information and you can like do regressions and kind of and you can see the statistical like this statistic. I want to tell people who might end up studying this or might be studying this that you're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get in trouble. You really are. And and there's a couple options that are available for people. You can literally pick up and move. You can pick up your life and you can leave. And you can't say you can't say that's not possible because you have a car, you have the internet, you can find a job in a different state. You can literally get out of this. Okay? You can get out of this. But because you don't want to, maybe might be a reason for like your stupidity would be a reason for your stupidity. Because yeah, and so like I said, I have a winner. Like there's like you can see like the 3 red. So those are vehicles. The brochure says like if you get like 3, you can see like the 3 right here. It says you win 10,000, 10 grand, and it's 1 out of 60,000 people are the possibilities. But it got sent to this house, and it says like to the homeowner or the current resident, and if I got a hold of it, so I have gotten a hold of this mail, and I did this like when nobody like really realized what it was, and had I not, I just want to, had I not, the people who hurt me would not let me, probably would not let me, would definitely not let me, get 10 grand from something that was a sent in a thing on sent through the mail, and I'm probably not going to be able to get to this location unless like I should be able to, because I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. But I shouldn't have to like make this a issue on being able to call for winning this, and it shouldn't be a big issue with getting to the location to claim a prize, and that's a problem that I am facing right now, and they're not gonna want me to claim the prize, right? They're not gonna want me to claim the prize, and they're gonna think that they deserve the prize because it was put into their mailbox, and I hope to God, if you're the listener would have made that connection, like when I said it the first time. I hope to God, but maybe not. When I'm listening to somebody else speak, those kind of connections that necessarily weren't being said. I was making as somebody was speaking. I was able to formulate a lot of connections at the same time while listening to somebody say the information that they're saying. Unfortunately, most speakers are using visual as an outline, and you can talk about a visual for hours and hours and hours, but I can just look at your visual and move on. I can just look at your visual and move on, and I do feel like that has so that's why I'm making so many more connections while they're speaking, because all they're speaking about is the damn visual. Like in school, they're just talking about the damn visual, and so less is more in that case, because I can read, I can definitely read, and if you don't stick to your visual, then your people do go off topic. They do. It's by virtue. Like if you're not reading exactly what's on the screen, you're going off topic. So I'm sitting here making connections myself, trying to acquiring this information, because you're going on it's the definition of a tangent. Definition of a tangent. Like, so I don't use visuals. I'm not using a visual. I use like this is an example. I guess you can call it a visual. I would like to think that like I'm not going to get off topic here. Once again, I can't use the telephone to call the police, and because there's an investigation that they're conducting right now on my guitar, on my instrument, and I can't call them to find out like what's going on. What's going on? Just like I couldn't call them when my grandmother. Well, I did. Just like I can't call them, I couldn't call them when my grandmother was assaulted, but I did. And but when I did call them, they hit me in the face. They hit me in the face. Like, it's not okay. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. And people's logic is that if what you see is usually what you believe, or what you hear is what you believe, and unfortunately, both are not true. Both are not true. And it's all right. It's really sad. It's really, really sad. Like, nobody should have to go through this. But once again, no. What that really means is that, like, it looks like it looks worse. It doesn't look worse. It's people are able to understand why it's bad, because, like, look at the wall. Like, look at this door frame. Like, look at that, like, that light up there. Like, these are things, like, people with money are able to afford. People with money are able to afford. And people with money usually, when, money is, I have money problems right this second, and people with money don't have money problems unless they're unless they're criminals, unless they are criminals. So, things like this are very important for those to understand, meaning that that it is, being a criminal is a way of life. It is a way of life, and it's difficult to not be a criminal after you are a criminal. It is difficult. It is difficult to get out of being a criminal. And if you're a criminal, you will make other people you associate yourself with a criminal. Even if that person you're associating with doesn't know it and is a good person, such as myself, you can force an innocent person to be a criminal just by association. It's not guilty. It's not guilty by association. That is a completely separate idea. That is a completely separate idea. It is literally the same idea as how a woman can be forced into a horrible condition, and forced to suffer in that, under those conditions, for a long period. And it's more along those lines of how, if usually criminals, so it's a way to understand that idea is, prison. They're usually in prison. Criminals, that's where they are. They're usually in prison. But if they're not, then they have to keep controlling their environment so they don't end up in prison. And the police don't understand this interpretation of perception. And I've explained it, and I've tried to simplify it. And what the police interpret, for instance, I saw a video. The police interpret them being correct. I saw a video yesterday where a lady went to the park near her house, and the police walked up to her and told her she had to leave. Her neighborhood park, she was told she had to leave. And there's a media there. The media was standing there next to the woman, and the media was saying this is not okay. You can't just tell somebody to leave a communal area, like the person was saying, like, you can't. Yeah. So I don't want the battery to die, and it is important because I have a charger right here. She had to leave. Is what happened. She had to leave because the police told her to. But the media was saying that she she was issued a document stating that she couldn't be on this property. She was just looking for her husband. Her husband was out, and she was looking for him. He was at the park. He was at the park, and she went to the park in search for him, and she found him. The police came up to the lady and explained to her she can't be here, and so they had to leave. And she said, "Okay, we're leaving. I found my husband, and we're leaving." And so when you look at the footage, you can see the police lined up, like there's four, and the media is kind of like on the other side. There's about like the same amount of people for the media, 4 and 4, and when you look at it, you feel like the police are correct. You think that the police are correct. You think that, like, well, you're not supposed to be on property for some reason. Like, you're not supposed to be here. So and that's kind of the law. It's kind of the law. Is people think it's the law, and so it looks as if she's wrong. As she's wrong, and it's just like this idea. This idea is so wrong, and it's literally the devil. Okay, it's this idea of abuse and judgment and negligence and fear, so people don't communicate, causing some innocent person not to be able to go to her own park and utilize it for some horrible reason for miscommunication. Some horrible reason for miscommunication or misinterpretation, and so that's important. And we care about something like that. We care about something like that, but we do not care. We don't care. I want people to know that I know we don't care when it happens to me. And it did happen to me. And because we didn't care, I want people to know that if it is your job to care and you didn't care, then that's not okay. And I want people to know, when I say it's not okay, it's really, really, really bad. And so, like I said, I am sitting here. I guess there's one more thing that I don't know if that's maybe that will do it. I hope that'll be enough. I want people. I pretty much said it in a text message. Like a series of events that kind of happened. My aunt was arrested, and then so because I called the police, they stole my car, and they stole my belongings and my telephone. And then my grandmother got assaulted, and my family said they wanted, and then they made my grandmother sign. They took her to a lawyer, and they made her sign a document so she couldn't testify. And then they made her go to another lawyer and sign another document saying she doesn't own the house. And I was assaulted. The charges were dropped. Charges were dropped. It's so bad. I just I can't say it. It's like this stuff is like really really bad. But they put me in financial ruin, and they think it's my fault. And like my grandmother was like always there for me. Was always there for me, and so I was always going to be there for her, because they were not there for her, and so like I said, I was about to read the list of like the series sequence of events. It's so freaking bad that just know when I say words like I want you to know, it's because either you can leave and go somewhere, and I won't seek you out in court, or you're gonna have to stay here and keep blaming me for your misinterpretation of somebody's life in general, and so that's not, and that's a hard lesson to learn. So like I said, I'm sitting here and I'm gonna see how this pans out. But but if you are corrupted, there is severe penalties for the level of corruption that you have practiced, and I think it's better that these people don't take me seriously, because it's allowed me to get to this point. Well, it almost killed me. It almost ended my life, but it's allowed me to get to this point, and so I can still move forward. And it doesn't satisfy me. Like, trust me, it's like I'm not seeking revenge. I'm not seeking revenge. All right. What I am seeking is restitution, not revenge, because trust me, revenge is doing the same thing that they did to you. That's revenge. You couldn't handle revenge. You wouldn't be able to handle revenge. Okay? You would commit suicide. And I would never do that to you. The difference is I would never put you through what you put me through. So that's why the money is a good representation of the amount of pain and suffering that I have endured. It's a good means of compensation. Okay? And though the listener will not believe it entirely, the listener will try to justify that idea. It's that you can't. There's no justification for hurting somebody who did nothing to you. There's no justification for that. I think I said it.